Hi, it's Lipstick Elle. Thank you so much for watching today. I'm taking you on a collection tour. I finished a declutter. Oh, it's been about a month now. I will link my entire declutter playlist for you in the description box below if you want to watch it. But boy, I got rid of a ton of stuff. And somebody asked when I was done, would you be willing to do a collection tour? And that's what I'm doing today. Part of the declutter process for me was going through and seeing what am I actually reaching for, what am I not reaching for? What is the wrong shade? What is now too old and has expired? What sorts of products do I tend to buy but I tend not to like? And I think that when I do that sort of kind of like mental inventory as I'm looking at it and I have it all out in front of me, like why do I have this many bronzers or why do I have this many foundations? I think it's really helpful for future purchases because I will reference that in my mind. Remember, you don't like a foundation that does X, Y, Z, don't buy that new foundation. Or you already have 30 bronzers, who needs another one? But I think that that's kind of a really important part for me of the decluttering process. And then it helps me really to know that I don't have anything kind of get shoved to the back of the drawer. I have everything easily accessible. I have it all in a manageable amount. I guess I should say manageable for a YouTuber. And I know I have a smaller YouTube channel, but I still have way more products than the average beauty consumer. But I wanted to give you a look at it today. Okay, so I'm gonna move the camera and I'll get right to it. This right here is the edge of my beauty desk. This is the desk that I sit at to do my makeup. It's kind of like my vanity. And all across the surface, you'll see there is the monitor that I reference when I'm recording a video to see what things are looking like. But there are all of my makeup brushes. There's usually a beverage. If it's later in the day like today, it's an iced beverage. If it's first thing in the morning, it's a hot beverage. But there's all of my brushes right through here. And then right here at the end, you'll see this kind of tall acrylic tower. And then I have things on the top. And that is where I keep the makeup that I'm using for the month. If you keep looking across the top over here, you'll see this kind of white counter. It's one of those IKEA kind of cubby systems. And so I'm using the surface of it to store things. I really like having clear acrylic storage units so that I can see what there is. Because the minute something goes in a drawer or gets pushed to the back, I lose track of it and I really don't want to do that. And then that kind of metal bin in the middle, that mint green one, is where I have a lot of powders and foundations. If you're looking actually in the cubby holes, let me just pan down a little bit here. The top ones, the one closest to the wall, is all of my eyeshadow palettes, my larger eyeshadow palettes. Lipstick is where you see all those gold Lisa Eldridge tubes there, and I have kind of like a Lazy Susan behind that has more. And those are traditional lipsticks and not glosses, but just lipsticks. And then the bottom two bins, the one off to the far left beneath the eyeshadows, is where I have storage and extra brushes. And then I have a couple of large palettes of singles in the one next to it, but also all of the packaging for product that if I decide, hey, I tried this, it's not working for me, I want to return it, you need the unit cartons, and that's what I have kind of stored there. The other thing is, here at my desk, you'll notice that I do have a drawer that I have more makeup in. So let me rearrange the camera, sit down, and start showing you what I got. These acrylic storage units were right up against the wall. And I have on top of this little lipstick holder that I don't use for lipstick at all. This is what I use for the single shadows I reach for the most. I love the Liquid Lyrics from Lisa Eldridge. Obviously, I have a couple of favorites. These are the ones that I reach for the most. Behind here, I have all of my Sydney Grace cream shadows. These are really fun. And then I have things like Inglot's Duraline, and I have one of the Twin Flames from Danessa Myricks. But these are the sorts of like easy, just tap it on and go sort of products that I like to have close. I've been picking little acrylic storage bins like this up anywhere I can find them when they're on sale. Marshalls, TJ Maxx, wherever. But this one here is all lip products. So this first bin here has lip balms. Mostly there's a couple of lip glosses in here. These two from RMS. But that's kind of what's in here. The other side is mostly tools. These guys here are all lip brushes. I have some turnkeys for the RMS lip lights and eye lights, and then another pencil sharpener in here. But this is where I keep the Smith Strawberry Lip Balm. I actually really have been enjoying this, but I've got so much right now, I don't know that this is the first thing I'm reaching for every time I'm looking for a lip product. This drawer is where I store the glosses that I'm not reaching for right now. So if it's not out to be used, it's in here or someplace else. And I found that I'm in a season right now where I'm loving gloss or a glossy lip product. But these are the ones that I'm not reaching for. This bottom drawer is all just the lip liners, the ones that I kept. Looking at this, I'm like, I think I still might have too many, but I find they're easier to find this way than when I kept them in a jar, kind of all standing on end. Because this way I feel like I get a better idea of looking through colors. It's visually easier for me to find what I have. This bin here is also lip products. These are more lipsticks. I have my House of Sillage bow holder here. That's what's here. I have a lone Lisa Eldridge lipstick that I rarely use because it's not a color that I love. I love this Lancome lipstick, but because it has velvet exterior packaging, it picks up so much cat hair and dust and fuzz, so I like to keep it in the drawer so it stays looking nice. And then the Kaja Love Swipe, I've been liking that, but I'm not using it currently, so I needed to put it away. These silver ones here are all cases for the products that go in my House of Sillage bow holder. A Victoria Beckham lip stain and 3 products from M, so they're old kind of matte lipstick, as well as their new formulation right here. And then an unopened tube of lip gloss that wouldn't fit in the other drawer. These bottom 2 drawers are where I've been keeping my smaller eyeshadow palettes. You can see this drawer is nothing but Viseart. I love the Petitfours from Viseart, these little tiny quads. I also like this size palette here, which is smaller pans, but they are in a 8-pan design. I like it quite a lot. I have their original artist palettes here, but I have quite a few of this size as well, this Entendu palette size. I just really like Viseart. I feel like it's a great brand if you have a mature eye, but you want a little sparkle, but you don't want it to be too much. Really, really, really love this, and I like having them here where they're easy to see. So the bottom drawer is a continuation of my small eyeshadow palettes and some singles. I have a couple of singles from M Cosmetics. They're Cosmic Pearl Dewy eyeshadows. I really love those. I usually keep all of my Lisa Eldridge palettes in here. One of them is in my everyday makeup drawer. And then I have these 4 from M. They're palettes. I really love this formulation. I really think the formula is good. The size is good. If you like a more curated palette, if you like a smaller palette, you get 6 shades. They tend to run on the warm side. All of these guys here are warm, even though these are like neutral. They do have this shade here in Venetian Rose. Beyond that, there is one that I don't have that I don't think I would ever find use for, which is their Faded Clementine, and it's definitely more cranberry and orange tones, and those just won't suit my skin tone. But I really, really love having these guys like easy to see because it's in a clear bin. What I have, easy to pull out. These acrylic bins are usually stacked on top of each other and go right here, but let me show you what's in here. This is normally at the very bottom. And this is the bin where I keep all of my open brow products in. You know what's funny is that this was full, but I keep grabbing for random things and they get dropped in my everyday makeup bin. So brow products, open mascaras, and a eye light, which is a cream shadow from RMS. All of my eyeliners, I have one gel liner that's potted. The rest of these are all pencil or liquid liners. And I couldn't tell you how many brown ones there are here. Don't even ask. Brown eyeliner is my weakness. So since these bins are a little bit deeper, I'm able to put things in here that don't fit other places. I have a primer from Tarte. This is their Timeless Smoothing Primer in limited edition packaging from I don't know how long ago. I'm nearly done with it. And this is from Westman Atelier. This is one of their highlight sticks. I use these products kind of occasionally. This is one of my favorite pore filling primers, but you need so little. That's why it's lasted me forever. All right, on this other side, other products that are kind of largish. Cream blush. Both of these are cream blush. This is a liquid blush from M. And then these little containers right through here are all Lisa Eldridge enlivening blushes. Because the packaging failed, I had to squeeze them into other containers. So there's a variety of little containers in here that have blushes. I think, I don't know, cross your fingers with me, that Lisa is releasing the blushes for summer. And if she is, I'm gonna pick up some new ones, and I'm hoping the packaging, the formulation's the same, but I'm hoping the packaging is better than the squeezy tubes she had them in before, because the packaging failed and I had blush everywhere. I like keeping all of my cream blush separate from where I have my powder blush. That way I know if I'm looking for a cream product, all my creams and liquids are in one place. You'll find all of them stored here in these towers, and all of my powder cheek products are in the drawer in my desk. This is a blush from Beauty Pie, some LYS, some drugstore stuff. This one here is from Victoria Beckham. I love this one from Charlotte Tilbury. It's the matte one. And this one here from MOB Beauty. Or is it Mob Beauty? I feel like this is like really, really nice. But that's the very bottom drawer. Another drawer of, there's a lot of cream cheek products. So I've got some Fenty. I've got these two guys here from M, really love those. Some Rare Beauty, Ritual de Fille, Glossier, Natasha Denona, and Danessa Myricks. So I love my cream products. I'm surprised I held on to as many as I did, but these are some of my most reached for and my favorites. Then we're off to liquid and cream highlights. I really pared it down. I do like the Super Shock formula. I have 3 of these. One of my favorite cream products from RMS, this is the Living Luminizer. This is not a favorite, and it's been a minute since I've reached for it, but I'm trying to love it. It's the liquid cushion highlight from M Cosmetics. I have this Vision Flush here from Danessa Myricks, and of course the Beauty Light Wand from Charlotte Tilbury. Cream bronzers, Charlotte, Rare, M Cosmetics, Merit, and Glossier. I used to be able to fit all of my concealers in this drawer. I don't know that I can anymore because I picked up a few more during the Sephora sale. But I'll tell you, when they're all in here like lined up, it's just so satisfying. But I'm glad I got rid of a lot of concealers that I'm really not reaching for. But I like this one from Charlotte. I have Lancome. This one here without any sort of writing on it is from Estee Lauder, the Dior Backstage, Rare, and I think this is the Faux Filter, yeah, from Huda Beauty. Here's where I tell you there are certain products I never want to be without. Obviously. I have a mascara here, and I don't have it in with the rest of my mascaras, but this is the Pick Me Up mascara from M. It's a tubing formula that I love. And then I have a ton of M products. These right here are their illustrative eyeliner. I love their eyeliner. It's my favorite liquid liner. I have 3 of those. I have a fine liner brow pencil, and I have a micro fluff sculpting brow cream. And then I have 2 brow flicks from Glossier and a boy brow, and another brow product that I love so much, the Ultra Precise brow pencil from e.l.f. So with the exception of the mascara, this is like my backup brow drawer where I always have what I need and never want to run out. Shadow singles in here. I do like ColourPop. I used to have like 60 of these Super Shock shadows. I don't anymore. I do love the Scattered Light from Hourglass. I've got they don't even, do they make this still? Wet n Wild single that's in Creme Brulee. I have a loose pigment in here from Sydney Grace, some crayons from Bobbi Brown and from Beauty Pie. But I like that I've cut my single shadows down to what I think I'm actually going to wear. I think it's interesting that most of my single shadows are, with the exception of this guy here, everything else in here has got a little shimmer to it. I definitely love a shimmery lid. These top 2 bins here are just primers. These don't fit well where I have my other primer, so they kind of are living in these 2 bins, but I really haven't been reaching for either of these. If I'm reaching for something in a pot, I'm reaching for the one from Tarte. I get a lot of questions about this mirror. By the way, this is a vintage mirror. I love it. It has a really nice mirror in it. It's kind of dirty right now, so don't take too close of a look, but this is made out of Bakelite, and it's a early plastic from early 20th century. I think it's like a 1930s mirror. Mine has a little makeup on it right here. But this was part of a dresser set where you had a comb and a brush and like a little container to catch all your hairs, and I think other things as well. But this I think is from the 1930s, and I love it. I got it for $7 at a vintage store. So if you're ever wondering like mirrors like this, just go to your local thrift store or a secondhand store or an antique store. Sometimes you'll get a really good deal because the whole set will not be complete and it's hard to move products like this. But I picked this up about 4 years ago and I use it every single day. This bin right here is where I've been keeping foundation, liquid highlights as well as powders. Let me carefully tip it up for you here. I have foundations here and here. I have a refill, if you're curious, to my cushion foundation from I have more foundations over here. I have the Flawless Filter from Charlotte Tilbury. I have one of the Lisa Eldridge Elevated Glows. I have the Auric Glow Lust. And then I have some, like, one powder right here, this red container. This red box is limited edition Lunar New Year packaging from Pat McGrath. This right here is the Patrick Ta foundation. I'm using it mainly for powder now because I didn't really like this formula and I didn't return it in time. So over here I have a lot of powders. I have the Prisma Libre. I have the Huda Beauty powder. I have my two favorites, and I love these guys, from Beauty Pie. These are two of my favorite and most used powders in my collection. And I have backups of both of them here because I kind of don't want to be without them. But I love these two from Beauty Pie. So this bin right here is mostly loose powder. The Halo Glow from e.l.f., the one from Rare. I have a small Laura Mercier. And then this one is so good. I really feel like the Beauty Pie powders are really amazing. Love this. This top bin is mostly pressed powders. So I've got two from Charlotte Tilbury. I have some drugstore powders in here, the one from No. 7 and from L'Oreal. Also have the Dior Backstage. I haven't used this one in a while. This is the lightest, but it looks so dark. That's interesting to me. And two of the Laura Geller Baked Balance and Brighten, because this one here, can you see like the terracotta tile? This one's almost gone. I really have been leaning on that. And this right here, let me show this to you. So it's just a little velvet pouch that I keep this refillable compact in. This is an Estee Lauder refillable compact. But I don't think that Estee Lauder makes pans for this anymore. But you know, it's a little small, but it fits in here. This is a pressed powder from Besame. I have a couple of Besame powders. One of them I keep in here. This is the Peggy Carter one. And I have the Marilyn Monroe one in my purse right now. But that's what this is. But I don't want it to get scratched up. I do like it. This was from Holiday. I don't know how many years ago. It used to be full of Lucidity powder, but they don't make that refill anymore. And do they even make that powder anymore? I don't know. But this right here is a beautiful compact, and I wanted to keep it. So I just keep it scratch-free in this little pouch. That's everything in this bin. I'm always trying to find a better way to store things, and I had not been keeping my primers in a place where I had easy access to them, and keeping them in something like this really helps me remember what I have. And then, you know, it's within easy reach. I have really been liking that. If I'm using a primer, I tend to reach for things in here more often. I do have some tried and true faves. I love this Prep and Matte from Lancome. I also really have been liking, and when I finish this, I'll go for a full size, but the Power Grip from e.l.f. And then I have some glowy primers like this one from Charlotte Tilbury that obviously I don't love. I feel like this is too dark for my skin tone. It's way darker than I thought it would be. So if I'm going for something glowy, I'll probably pull out this Glass Correct from Wet n Wild. It's a little bit green, but mostly it's just super shiny. And then I have an eyeshadow primer in here. But I try not to have too many primers on hand. I'm not much of a primer girl, but trying to change that. I have this glass jar that I keep all of my unopened mascaras in. So my favorite, of course, the Monsieur Big. I have two other ones in here that came in really big, bulky packaging as a duo pack at the holidays. Threw away the packaging, but threw them in here. So I know anything in this glass container is unopened yet, which is like how I want to keep them until I'm ready to use them. But I have some trial sizes, like other ones in here. And I did end up getting this Lash Paradise as a bonus when I made an Ulta order. It came with a nail polish, but I gave the nail polish to one of my kids. So this is all what I have. I used to have a ton more in here, but I got rid of a lot of mascara that I just knew I wasn't going to be using. And then I'm only keeping things that I'm really curious to try. I'm about to show you what's in my everyday makeup bin, but this is one of the things that I have close by. And this is just a palette of singles that intrigue me. Some warm leaning singles, some cool leaning singles, a ton of metallics. And these are either Sydney Grace, ColourPop, or some old Makeup Geek shadows in here. And I just keep them in here, and I kind of thought, you know, these colors would go well together. And I've been leaning on this a lot more than a pre-made palette recently. I have two acrylic storage containers like this that are kind of tiered up, and they hold, I really like it because they hold chunkier packaging. This one here tends to be all glosses or serums or glowy things in general. I have some stuff like these two here are drugstore. I definitely have more high-end like Lisa Eldridge. I have some Rare Beauty. My favorite ones are these guys in the back. I'm almost done with these. I have two that I'm almost done with Beauty Pie. But I have really been loving kind of glossy lips. Love the Make Serum Balm. I don't know. I have thoughts about this Lawless Plumping Smoothing gloss, but this whole one here I've been kind of really heavy on the glossy lips, and I have been keeping like my lip glosses in this area. This other tray here tends to have more, you know, lipsticks in it. These are two blurring formulas and matte formulas from I've got a couple of Dior ones here. I've got some Gucci across the front, some Glossier, some drugstore. This one's from Revlon. And then I have some Cosmetics, some Tarte, just like a variety. I have some ColourPop. I have the new lipstick from Make Beauty. One of the new Sensual Shine lipsticks from NARS. I just have like more actual, even though it's shiny, these are more actual lipstick products, while everything on the other side tends to be gloss. I like to give myself a split depending on what I'm going for. All right, here's what I've been reaching for daily. I'm gonna start with this. This is the Lisa Eldridge Elevated Glow. I'm wearing it today. Love this. My favorite shade is Crystal Nebula. This is Pink Moon. This is the lightest shade, but I don't feel like it's as glowy as Crystal Nebula. So when I'm done with this, I'll probably get the other one. I'm hoping to finish it by the end of the summer because I love this product all year long, but I lean on it especially during the summertime. I do have another one of these in Cosmic Rose, which is a little bit deeper. I thought I was buying this one and I got the other one accidentally. So the other one I kind of use either as a mix-in for foundation, but this is the one I use as highlight and I love. But my top drawer here in this set of acrylic bins is base products. So I have the new Makeup Forever powder. I have my favorite loose powder from Glossier and the Cloud Set from Kosas. I do have this little teeny tiny guy here, and it's not actually Fenty. I dropped my under eye setting powder from Pat McGrath and it shattered. So I put it in here. I was like, I don't like the Fenty powder, but I do like that it's a little teeny tiny sifter. So that's what this is. This is the Stretch Concealer from Glossier. These two products are from Beauty Pie. This is their new green corrector. And this is their Super Luminous Under Eye Genius. This is my favorite. I think it's the best corrector I've ever tried. I love this foundation, the True Match from L'Oreal. The Bosma Stick Foundation has been amazing. And then just a variety of concealers. The Prisma Libre from Givenchy, the Tom Ford. This little tiny guy here is from Hourglass. It's a mini of their Vanish Concealer, the Beauty Pie Concealer, and the Skin Mimetic Concealer from Make. This is one that I don't love as concealer, especially under my eyes, but I swipe it all over the face and use it as foundation. That's why it's kind of in here. But this is what I've been reaching for recently for base. These are the products I'm reaching for that I'm using on my cheeks. I've got my highlights from Rare Beauty. I have a highlight here from Merit. These three sticks right here are the So Soft sticks from Cosmetics. Love these guys. The new blushes from Danessa Myricks. Two new shades of the cream blush from Beauty Pie. Love, love, love the Gucci bronzer. Really have been enjoying the new one from Pat McGrath. This is the new bronzer from Pat McGrath. And I do like the one from Victoria Beckham. And it looks like there's nothing here, but there is. It's a Laura Mercier powder blush. So this is what I've been using on cheeks recently. If I'm using a pre-made palette, it's been one of these. Really having a moment with Viseart right now. And I do have one of my Lisa Eldridge palettes in here. My MAC Paint Pot is what I've been reaching for a lot. And I cannot stop reaching for this eye light here. This is in the shade Strobe. It's a beautiful, cool metallic. And then I have all of my eyeliner pencils in here or my liquid liners that I'm reaching for right now in here as well. So this bottom bin has a ton of stuff, like this whole section, like right here. These are all the brow products that I have been reaching for. I told you how that other drawer was usually fuller. I just keep reaching for more and more things. So these are all brow products. Everything kind of going this way. These are all open mascaras that I'm using right now. And then I do have a couple of primers. I have been liking this one. This is the 24-hour redness eraser from L'Oreal. I feel like it takes down my redness just a smidge. And this is the Denesamyrix Yummy Skin Blurring Balm Powder. I don't really use it as anything more than primer. When I use it as a finishing product like powder, I mess up my makeup. I don't have those Denesamyrix makeup artist skills, but this is still an interesting product and I've just been using it as primer. Here are all of my Lisa Eldridge lipsticks -1. I have one in one of my acrylic bins in a drawer because it doesn't fit in this display. And I know that if Lisa comes out with more lipsticks or I buy maybe the 5 shades from her that I don't already own, I'm gonna need more storage. I just haven't gotten there yet. But I'm hoping she's releasing new velvets soon. I saw something on her Instagram where she said she was going to be giving away new shades of a velvet lipstick to some winners who come and visit her at her new counter at Selfridges. So if you're in London, Lisa has a permanent counter at Selfridges, which is so cool. Here is my acrylic Lazy Susan that I love. I have a glass cup in the middle where I keep some of my taller lip products that are skinny that would kind of fall over in the midst of all of this. And I still have room in here to put a few more things if I needed to, but I like keeping it right about here. This plus the Lisa Eldridge plus the guys that I keep up here. I have a lot of lip products, but it's easier for me to find them this way. So I try and keep it kind of, like all of my high-end or luxury this way. And then a lot of my more affordable drugstore things on the other side. And then in the middle, just whatever wouldn't stand up well on its own, like these guys from Hourglass or this from About Face. I do have a wide range of types of products in here. And these live in one of these cubbies right here. I was so proud of myself that I was able to cut down all of my large palettes into this one large bin. So helpful. So I have a couple of face palettes here. This is something I need to remind myself that I have. This is my Salt New York palette. I love the creams in here and I love this sort of thing for summer. So I may just leave this out on the countertop in front of me so I don't forget about this. I do have another large face palette in here, which I need to maybe find a new home for, but this is from Denesamyrix, the Lightworks one. This is stunning. Highlights, I use them as highlights, but I also use them as eyeshadows when I want to do like a, just use one thing all over the face. Love this. And then the rest of these, like my larger palettes are in the back. So I've got a wide range of things in here. I've got some Anastasia Beverly Hills. I have some Patrick Ta. I have a Mothership palette. I have one from Natasha Denona. And then I have a ton right here of Sydney Grace palettes. All of these are Sydney Grace. I have a couple of just random things, like some of my favorite easy palettes, like the Identity palette from Persona. Ooh, love these guys from Flower Beauty, the Jungle Lights and the Desert Lights. So these are kind of my larger sized eyeshadow palettes in here, and then some face palettes. And all of these fit nicely into this bin, and the bin fits nicely into one of the cubbies. And it's all within easy reach as I'm sitting here doing my makeup. All right, the bottom cubby has this little bin in there and then a bunch of empty unit cartons for products like, what I don't like, I may have to return. These are all still within their window of, returnable as long as I make a decision on them. I think I'm probably going to end up keeping most of these. I did end up returning a handful of lipsticks I picked up during the Sephora sale. I didn't really return them, I exchanged them because either the formulation and I didn't get along or the colors were not right. But I do recommend that if you're going to make, I know you can't make exchanges everywhere, but here in the United States, you can, even if you've used it. And if you do, you will need the unit carton because they will need to get that barcode on the bottom, scan that, match it to your receipt. So save your receipt, save the packaging that it comes from, and then that's why I hang on to these and I have a designated place for them. When I go shopping, all of my unit cartons or packaging goes in here. So if for any reason I need to make a return, I just have to find the right place. The rest of my eyeshadows are all in here. These are single shadows. So I have a couple of singles from Give Me Glow. I think I have a couple more in another spot. Oh, right here. So these are Give Me Glow and these are Cleona. I have all of my mattes from Sydney Grace kind of, cooler mattes are over here. I've got some warmer mattes in the middle, some more neutrals. I kind of have them organized that way. And when I pull together kind of like a palette like this, I'll have a mixture of different brands and things, but I do have a home for everything. So this is Sydney Grace, kind of matte neutral shades. Here's where I have like some of the warmer and more colorful ones. These are all Sydney Grace as well. This palette here has the few like ones from ColourPop as well as ones from Makeup Geek that I decided to hang on to during my declutter. So everything that's not Sydney Grace ends up in here. And then this right here is my large metallic palette from Sydney Grace. These singles, I love this formula. Beautiful, but most of these are pressed pigments or some metallic shadows, but everything in here is Sydney Grace. And you can see I have like places where ones that I'm using other places go in here, but love, love, love this formula. Definitely my favorite eyeshadow formula, and obviously I'm obsessed. If you're curious, this giant palette is from Adept Cosmetics and holds 88 of those normal size pans. The last cubby on the bottom in the corner has all of my brushes that I'm currently not using. I have some nice brushes in here, some nice synthetic brushes like these guys from It Cosmetics. I think I have some really nice things in here. And then some other things, like I got a ton of stuff when I was part of subscription boxes like this. Definitely was something that came in a subscription box that I would never have purchased for myself. But you can see I have a plethora of face brushes. And then this bin here usually sits on top and keeps all of the eye brushes I'm not using. This last box here is actually full of face brushes that I do use occasionally. The bulk of what I have, and these just sit in here like this, you'll notice I have stuff like right here on my desk in front of me that I reach for regularly. These are the ones that I wash. I have Rougher, I have Wayne Goss, I have Sonia G, and then I have a ton of others. These are just my eye brushes. Face brushes in another spot, but these are all of the brushes that I have that I'm not using, but they're all clean and ready to go. So if my daughter ever says, hey, I need a brush for, or my mother-in-law needs something, or my mom needs something, I raid this stash here. All right, last thing to show you is this drawer. I don't have really nice or attractive like organizational things in here. These are bins from the dollar store, but you know, whatever. So over on this side, I have like a couple of larger bronzers, Charlotte Tilbury and this Bronze Goddess. This is empty. I need to get shade number 2. I had shade number 1 in here. That's what it says on the back, but since it's refillable, I popped the pan out. I'm keeping the compact because I want to do something else. This is shade number 2 from Estee Lauder. And even though I'm fair, you know, shade 1 was too light and too yellow. This shade is beautiful. The rest of the things I have over here, you know, I have some face palettes, the iconic Charlotte Tilbury Bronze and Highlight, Wayne's, I love this, his bronzer and contour, love this so much, probably one of my favorite products. I do really like the Patrick Ta combo of the cream and powder here. This is the lightest shade and she's statuesque, but everything I have over here, that's what it is. I have more bronzers here. This is one from L'Oreal. I have one from Make Beauty, one of the powder ones from M. One of my favorites from Beauty Pie. This one's fantastic. And then I do have the powder one from Fenty, which I like a lot. I think that's the majority of like my bronzers. Either I have cream bronzers or I've got these guys here. There might be a couple of bronzers in my Hourglass face palettes, but I found that I used to keep these in a different place and I never reached for them because I never saw them. Then we're getting into blush. I've got one from Make. I have one of Wayne's blush and highlight palettes here. I obviously love these Heaven's Glow blushes from M Cosmetics. These are some of my favorites. I have 5 of these. Like, I have these 5 right here, and then there is one highlight that's in the bunch. But since the packaging is all the same, I kind of kept them together. But this is the highlight. Everything else is the Radiant Baked Blush, but they're just stunning. Love these guys so much. I held on to this. This was part of the blockbuster from Estee Lauder this last year. And this is a compact that has blush, highlight, and bronzer. You know, it's actually really nice and it's great for a day when I don't want to think too much and I can get all my products in one place. This is, I think, one of the few things that I hung on to. Everything else I think might have gotten decluttered. More blush here. I have 2 of my favorites from Pat McGrath. I'm down to just one Charlotte Tilbury blush, except for the beauty wand. An Hourglass blush, one from Patrick Ta, a couple from Essence. I haven't used this one that much. I know it's kind of newer, the Pure Nude Baked Blush. I think I got the wrong shade. This one here is called Berry Cheeks. I think it might be too dark for me. Two of my faves. Oh my goodness, I love these highlighty blushes from RMS. They're so pretty. And my little Gucci blush. I've got a lot of blush in here. Wow, more than I thought. These are the powder highlights that I have hung on to. This one here from Flower Beauty, I love this. This is one of, I think, the best highlights at the drugstore. Amazing. And I like that it comes in this and as well as a deeper combo. I think it's very similar to this product that Charlotte doesn't make anymore. This was kind of a limited edition holiday thing, but then they kept it around for a while. But the Bar of Gold highlighting trio, which you can see, I just run my brush over the top. I love the gleam to this. I feel like it's very similar to this. I feel like I really cut down on my highlights, but I kept something that Lancome doesn't even make anymore. This is their Absolute powder. This is a radiant powder, and I love it for a really subtle but all at the same time blingy. It can be blingy, but it's super soft, finely milled, and really pretty. Love this. I can never use it. I think they were intending it to be a finishing powder. It's too much for me. But as highlight, it's fantastic. My only beef is that the packaging, you know, all the gold is coming off the top and flaking everywhere, and don't love that. I've got a Pat McGrath. I could not let go of the Emreezy highlight from Anastasia. That is still here. I'm not in love with this one from Haus Labs. Tell me if you have one of these. Do you love it? Is it the best? I have the shade Stunstone. Obviously, I've been using it, but I don't know. I feel like this could have been one I decluttered, but I didn't because I haven't even had it that long. I think I might have had it now for 6 months, but not a fave. One that certainly is a favorite is this. This is the Bronzed Goddess highlight from Estee Lauder. This is the shade Heat Wave. Oh, love this. Now, I've had this for a long time, but it's still beautiful and it still works, and I love, 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 love. But this is the lightest shade they make, but this formula is a baked gelée formula, and that's what I love about it. It looks so smooth on the skin, even though I'm 48, and, you know, texture aplenty. I have really liked this one from Essence, the Kissed by the Light. That one has been nice. I have one from Beauty Pie. I think it's okay. It's not my fave, but, you know, she's all right. We'll keep her around. And then this one right here, although it's in a Makeup Geek compact, it's actually a highlight from Sydney Grace. This one is called First Date. I think it was part of one of their mystery bags last year, but yeah, got it in here and I'm using it now that I have it out in its own little compact. I forgot I had these in here. Oh my goodness. I was trying really hard to not forget where I put stuff, but apparently I did. These are the rest of my small eyeshadows. I have a ton of ones from, I think there's 5 of them here, from Wayne Goss, his luxury eyeshadow palettes. Love these. I have a Pat McGrath quad here. I have a quad from e.l.f. This is the pumpkin pie one. I like this a lot. I have my bento stack from Kaja here. This is a really fun eyeshadow, and a really old but really good Natasha Denona 5-pan palette. She doesn't make this size anymore. I think she's down to just the minis, but she doesn't even make this color combo. And I love it because it's cooler toned, kind of really pretty, slightly grungy looking, especially like these guys here. Perfect for my skin tone. Love, love, love. I have some Charlotte Tilbury quads and then one of the kind of dupey sort of quads from Beauty Pie, which I like a lot. The last thing in here was such a disappointment. I got one of the smoky eye bricks from Victoria Beckham. Don't love, don't recommend, but because it's new to my collection this year, I'm hanging on to it, but I don't know. That's everything in this drawer, and that is the last of all of my makeup. Wow. Thank you so much for watching today. Here's where I want to remind you that nobody needs this much makeup. If you're just an average, everyday person, you don't need even like 1/10 of as much as I have. The reason I have all of this is because of my YouTube channel. I think that going through and doing a declutter has been really helpful. It helps me realize that, first of all, I had too much. Second of all, I had a lot of stuff that I really wasn't using, and going through that process of getting rid of things really helped me realize, don't buy any more like this. you know, you don't wear that shade or that type of formulation. And then kind of having it all here within easy reach, not where I have to get up and go through like cupboards or drawers and other places. Like it's all within arm's reach right here. Like my cubbies are down below here. I have stuff on the counter right next to me, and then stuff right here on my desk and the drawer in front of me. If I can reach it without having to get up. I come and I sit here at my vanity and I play with all of my toys and I try and get them, put them away at the end of the day. But it really helps me realize, what am I actually reaching for? And when I see what's left on the tabletop by the end of the day or the end of the week, helps me realize this is what I'm really liking right now. And it helps me keep track of what my favorites are. Products that maybe I put out that I realize I keep wanting to use it and I never do, what's keeping me from using it. So I'm able to make decisions about what to purchase next based on what I have and that I can actually see it. I feel like fewer things get lost when I have a slightly more pared down collection and it's all within easy reach. So it has been useful to me to have the open cubbies, to have the clear acrylic bins, things like that really make my storage a little bit easier for the way that I keep track of things, because I really am an out of sight, out of mind kind of person. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed seeing me open up all of my drawers, show you what I have, how I keep it stored. I find that I reorganize regularly based on the sorts of things that I'm loving. And I love that I have this one area here for my monthly makeup, like that one acrylic stack I have on my desktop that I'll empty, put everything away at the end of the month and put new stuff in there. It really helps keep me rotating through what I have so things don't get lost or forgotten. If you want to see a video, a specific type of video, let me know in the comment section below, because I made this because someone said, hey, I would like to see a makeup tour. I want to see what you ended up with after you did your declutter. I will do my best to fulfill those requests. Thank you so much for watching. Have an incredible day, and I will see you again soon.